Hey, today we're going to talk about slopes of lines, and this time we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines and what happens with their slope. So when I look at the equation of a line, which is in this form, we can find the slope pretty easily. It is the number in front of x, so the slope of this line is 3 over 2. And so what we want to do is we want to write an equation of a line that's parallel to this one. So first we need to understand what does it mean to be parallel. Parallel lines are lines that never cross. And so the thing that makes lines never cross is their slopes. Um, it's the slantiness of the lines that makes them never cross. And so the thing about parallel lines is that their slopes are always the same. And so if I want to write an equation that's parallel to this one, I'm going to give it the same slope. The thing that will change is this part of my equation, the place where it crosses the y-axis. So my new equation of the line parallel is going to start the same. Have the same slope, have my x, and so now we need to see what will this piece be to complete this line. Well, we're asked to make sure that this line goes through this point, and so one thing we could do is we could go to Desmo so we can plot that point, get the plus, hit the table, 2, -2. And so there is my point, and I can use my slope to help me find the y-intercept. I'm going to have to go backwards though. My slope is up 3, right 2. And so the opposite would be to go down 3, left 2. So we can always go in the opposite direction. It's a bit like going upstairs and downstairs. Opposite directions, but still the same path. So if my slope originally is up 3, down, right 2, then I can go down 3, left 2, and I can, it'll still be the same slope. So if I start at this point and I go down 3, maybe I'll, here we go. I'm going to go down 3, left 2. That's the same as going up 3, right 2. You can see I'm following the same path here. But if I go down 3, left 2, I end up at this point on the y-axis, -5. That's going to be my y-intercept. And so my equation is going to end with -5. This line is going to be parallel because it has the same slope. And it's going to go through this point 2, -2 because we use that point and the slope to find the y-intercept. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to graph that, both of those, and show you. So hopefully you can see that these two lines are slanted the exact same way because they have the same slope. And if we kept going and going and going forever and ever, those lines would never cross because they have the same slope, so they're slanted the same way. And you can see my new line, this one that's black, goes through that point, that green point here that we wanted it to go through. And so we have the right equation. So anytime we want to write the equation of a line parallel to a line that we are given, we start with the same slope. So the slope of this line is 9 over 5. And so my new equation is going to start y equals 9 over 5x. They're going to start the same way. But now I want this new line to go through this point, and so I'm going to use my slope, and I'm going to use that point to find my intercept. I need to know what is this piece of my equation. So let me plot -5, -4. So I've plotted my point, and now my slope is 9 over 5. That means to go up 9, to the right 5. And so if I go up 9 and to the right 5, I end up crossing the y-axis right here, and that is at 4. It's positive, so +4 is going to be my y-intercept, and so my equation is going to end with a +4. There is my line. And I'm going to graph both of these again and again show you that it worked out. And you can always check your answer by doing this. As you can see, my original line in red is there. And then my new line in blue goes through that green point I wanted it to go through. These two lines are parallel. They'll never touch because they're slanted the same way. They have the same slope. And so we know that this blue line is the line parallel to the original that goes to the point we wanted it to go through. The other type of relationship we have between lines is that they can be perpendicular. Perpendicular means that these two lines will intersect. They cross each other. And they will make right angles, 90-degree angles. And so we have a relationship between their slopes, and their slopes are flipped fractions. They're two things. They're flipped fractions. And they have opposite signs. So one is going to be positive and one is going to be negative. So one is going to go up to the right all the time and one is going to go down to the right. And that will make sure that they cross, and they will cross at right angles if they have both of these things. And so if we look at this first equation, this slope is 2 over 1. And so if I want the perpendicular slope, and I'll do this upside down capital T, that means perpendicular. If I want my perpendicular slope, I'm going to take my original slope and I'm going to flip it over. So the 1 on the bottom goes on the top, the 2 on the top goes on the bottom. I've just flipped that fraction over. This slope is positive. There's no negative sign. That's positive. So this slope is going to be negative. I put the negative in front. It's good to put the negative in front of the slope because this makes the whole slope negative. And so my new line is going to start like this. It's going to have a slope of negative 1 over 2, x. And now we just need to find the intercept. This intercept is 0. That's why there's nothing there. But we want our line to go through this point. So we're going to use this new perpendicular slope, and we're going to find our intercept for our new line. So our slope for our perpendicular line is down 1, right 2. Well, if I keep counting down 1, right 2, I'm not going to get closer, but I'm going to get further away from the y-axis, which is what I want to do. I want to find the y-intercept here. And so down 1, right 2. The opposite of that is up 1, left 2. So I can go the opposite direction. I'm just walking up the stairs instead of down the stairs. So if I go up 1, right 2, up 1, I'm sorry, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2, I'm going to cross my y-axis right here at negative 1. And so my y-intercept is going to be negative 1. And so I can complete my equation by saying minus 1. And so again, I will graph these two lines to show you how they intersect. So you can see the two lines cross. They cross right here. My new line, the purple line, goes through that point I wanted to go through. And you can see, hopefully you can see that they make these right angles, sort of like the corner of a room would be. It's a right angle, 90 degrees. And so these two lines are perpendicular. So I'm going to do one more of those. Notice I want a perpendicular line. So I look at this slope is 2 over 3. And so the slope of my perpendicular line, I'm going to flip this fraction over. So 3 goes on top, 2 on the bottom. And then this original slope was positive, so I'm going to make my new slope negative. So my line is going to start as y equals negative 3 over 2 x. And now I'm going to use this point, like I have so far this lesson, to find the y-intercept. And so my slope is negative 3 over 2, so that tells me to go down 3, right 2. So I'm going to start at this point. I want my line to go through and go down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2, and I'm going to cross the y-axis right there. That's negative 3. And so I'm going to complete my equation by saying minus 3. Sorry, that is a pretty sloppy 3. I don't think I'm making it any better. That's a minus 3. And so these two lines should be perpendicular. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and graph these and show you. So there you go. They intersect. They make right angles. The interesting thing about these two is that they do both actually have the same y-intercept. That's not always going to happen. That's just a coincidence here. They both end in minus 3. But you can see that their slopes are flipped fractions. One's positive, one's negative. My positive slope goes up to the right. My negative slope goes down to the right. So if you do have any questions, please make sure that you ask me. Make sure you stick around and you answer the questions at the end of this video. Take your time on this. Good luck, and please do ask for help if you need it.